Hi guys, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat at nandito ulit ako para mag-discuss ng ating panibagong topic tungkol sa developing SQL at ang topic natin for today ay ang Serializable and Snapshot. So this module provides us with instruction and devices to develop our hands-on skills on the following topics. Number 1, meron tayong 2 topics pala na i-cover for tonight. Yung number 1 natin is yung working with serializable isolation level, and yung number 2 is yung working with snapshot isolation level. So let's start. So exercise 1, working with serializable isolation level. So this system of locking that works between the SQL transaction in database is controlled or determined by isolation level. So there are various isolation level in SQL Server. So apart from serializable and snapshot, the other level are as follows. So may tatlo tayong level dito. So yung unang level natin is yung read uncommitted, number 2 is yung repeatable read, and yung last one is yung read committed. So let's start. In our task 1, we will execute select and insert statement in two simultaneous session on table without index. Okay, so step 1 tayo. Step 1, ensure you have powered on the required devices and connect to Plub SQL1. So done. Step 2, from the Microsoft SQL, click pala natin itong Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, and then after that, dito sa ating server type, dapat ang nakalagay is yung database engine natin, and yung server name natin dapat Plub SQL01. Then connect. Alright, so the SQL Server Management Studio open. So in the Object Explorer, click to expand the databases folder, and click natin yung AdventureWorks DW 2016 CTP3. Then add tayo ng bago nating query. So step 6, before I explain this, let's copy it first. Oops, late. Alright, ayan. So this query checks if the table named in product_temp exists in database or not. So if it exists, the table is deleted and the new table with the same name is created. So the new table will have 2 columns, namely product key and list price. So there is no index created sa ating dim product_temp table natin. So run natin. So command completed successfully. So successful natin na create yung ating new table, and step 7 tayo, create ng panibago nating query. So this query wait lang, mali, balik tayo copy. Pinapansin ko. Ayan. So this query imports records into dim product_temp table natin from dim product table based on the where clause. A new record is also inserted in dim product_temp table natin. So run natin. So yan, 395 rows affected and 1 rows affected. So meaning, it imports data from dim product table natin sa dim product_temp table. So the query is successfully executed. So as you can see on our messages pane, it's successful na create natin. So step 8 tayo. Create tayo ng panibago nating query. Oops, mali. So yan. So this query displays all the records from dim product_temp table natin in ascending order of the product key column natin. So execute. So yan. So it displays the record from dim product_temp table natin. So the query is successfully executed and the result set is displayed sa ating result pane. It shows all the records from dim product_temp table natin in ascending order siya ng ating product key column. So step 9 tayo, create ng panibago nating query. Apps. And type the following query. Ayan. So meaning it recalls the deep product underscore term table natin does not have any index. So consider the query as session 1. So in this query, the transaction isolation level is set to serializable. So there are two select statements that are executed in the transaction with a delay of 15 seconds between each execution. So run natin. So notice the result set pane shows an empty result. So in that executes multiple select statements. The query is successfully executed. Ayan. So tumama yung sinabing 15 seconds between each execution bago magpakita yung result. So hindi ko lang siya na-notice bigla pero lumabas siya. Step 10, after a delay of 15 seconds, the entire transaction is executed. So ito na yun. So ito po yung nakikita nyo sa screen natin. So step 11 tayo. Kita na panibagong query. Yan, so consider the query as the session 2. So the transaction isolation level is set to serializable. So the query inserts a record into the product underscore term table natin. So run natin ito. Yan. So may important reminder dito. So the product underscore term table natin will be locked during the entire transaction as there is no index on the table. So the insert statement will get executed only after the query in session 1 is executed completely. So both the select statement in session 1 displays the same result set. So proceed tayo with the task 2. Yung task 2 natin, we will execute select in insert statement into simultaneous session on table with index. Create na panibagong query. So this query checks if table named in product underscore time exists in the database or not. So if it exists, the table is deleted and a new table with the same name is created. So the new table will have two columns, namely product key and list price. So the product key column is set as primary key. Therefore, an index is automatically created on the product underscore time table natin. So run natin ito. So command completed successfully, meaning with successful creation ng new table natin with the primary key. Step 2 tayo. Alright, so the query inserts records into dim product underscore time table natin from dim product table based on the word clause. So execute. Yan, so 395 rows affected tayo. And step 3, to create a new query from the query, click tayo panibago. Okay, mali. So this query inserts a record into a dim product time table natin. So execute. So 1 rows affected. Meaning the result, meaning that it shows the successful insertion of record in dim product underscore temp table natin. Step 4, create tayo panibagong query. Type natin ito. Yun, so this query displays all the records from dim product underscore time table natin in ascending order of the product key column. So run natin. Ayan. So the query is successfully executed. It shows that all the records from dim product table in the ascending order of the product key column natin. step 5, create tayong panibagong query. So the table has an index. Consider the transaction as session 1. So in this query, the transaction isolation level is set to serializable. So there are two select statements that are executed in the query with the delay of 15 seconds between each execution. Yan, so blanco pa yan. So pagdating ng 15 seconds niyan, may lalabas na dyan. So wait lang natin. Ayan. So, it shows the result of the executed query natin kanina. So, step 6 tayo. Ayan. So, consider transaction as session 2. So, this query inserts a record on the product. So, ayan. So, 1 rows affected. Proceed tayo. So, exercise 2 tayo, working with snapshot isolation level. So, in the snapshot isolation level, other queries can interact with the snapshot-based transaction. So, however, if the other queries are modifying the data, the old version of the data is stored in the temp DB database. So, thus, the data gets modified in the database when the snapshot transactions are running, but the changes to the data are running, but the resources. So in our task 1, we will implement the snapshot isolation level in SQL transaction. So step 1, create tayo pa na bagong query. And yan. So this query enables the AdventureWorks DW 2016 CTP3 database natin to work with snapshot isolation level. So run natin. So command completed successfully. And step 2. So step 2, this query checks if dim product underscore temp table exists in the database. So if it exists, the query deletes it and creates it again. So run natin. Ayan. So the result is displayed that shows the successful execution of the query natin. Then step 3, create tayo. So in this query, the transaction isolation level is set to snapshot. So consider this transaction as session 1. So to update statement updates the list price column value in dim product underscore temp table. So note an important point, the transaction is not committed in session 1. So execute natin. So 395 rows affected. So step 4. So in this query, the transaction isolation level is set to snapshot. So consider this transaction as session 2. So the select statement displays all the record from the product underscore temp table natin. And run. Ayan, so with the query type in the displays the records from the product underscore temp table natin. Okay. And step 5, open the query window of session 1, transaction where the update statement is written. So comment the entire query and type only commit at the end of the query as indicated. Type natin ito. Yan, then execute. The commission function has no corresponding begin transaction. Open the query window of the session 2. Ay, mali. 7 to rerun the query, executor, press 5. Ito pala yun. So command the enter query type only commit at the end of the query as indicated. So command completed successfully nung nirun natin. Ayan. Let's check. Yes, tama tayo ng ginawa. And then open the query window, session 2, so transaction where the select. So comment the statement and add commit in the query as indicated. Right, wait. Yan, so ito yung session 2 natin. Yan. Then execute natin. Ayan. So the new table of 2012. Ayan, so if the price is thus, you must commit both session transaction to reflect the changes in the table. So to rerun, click executor S. Ayan, tama tayo. Alright. So thank you for listening. Na-cover po natin yung topic natin regarding sa serializable and snapshot.